Hey everybody, it's your girl. How you doing? Well, I have a series of new patterns coming out, and actually this pattern has been changed. It's not the same as the other fringe pattern that's online, so this is my new pattern, and it'll come in one large sheet. I'm very excited about this. Really excited about it coming in one large sheet. And so you're able to, and this is just a paper pattern only. And you can find these paper patterns online on my website, okay? And any digital patterns you can find in my Etsy store. All right, so let's get started. Okay, step one. So the first thing you're going to do, like I said, your pattern is going to come in one large sheet. I already started cutting mine out. You're going to have your pattern. You're going to cut that out. Then you're going to cut out, you're going to have fringe. I set up guides for you to use in order to set your fringe on your bag. And I'm going to show you in the next lesson how to set that up. So the first thing you do is just cut out all your pattern pieces, okay? So just cut out all of your pattern pieces. Okay, now you should have your pattern pieces cut out. You will have your main bag, which you would cut 2 main fabrics and 2 linings, okay? Now, you can use interfacing with this. It's optional. It depends on what type of fabric you use, okay? We'll get into that later. Then you have your pocket, one pocket piece. This is for your inside pocket. Then you have your strap for your strap. Then you'll have your fringe pieces. You should have 8. Oh, I'm sorry. Wait, hold on. Then you have the band, the top band for the bag. And then you should have your fringe, all your fringe pieces. Now, let me point out something. On here, each fringe is numbered, okay? It's numbered for the number on the bag, okay? So, this is fringe number 2. This is fringe number 1. So, you're always going to start with fringe number 1, which will be placed at the bottom of the bag, okay? We're going to start with fringe number 1. And I have a placement line. Wherever this dotted line is, and the dotted line is on here, that's where you're going to place your fringe all the way up. Okay, from 1 to 8. All right? So that's fringe 1, 2. And then, like I said, they're all numbered. So just look at the numbers and you'll see them. So it's 1 through 8. All right? Okay, so now let's lay out everything for your fabric. I'll see you in the next lesson. Okay, for this project, I am going to use this African print fabric. It is a wax fabric. And I really like it. I like the colors and everything. And it's a heavier, it's not as heavy as a canvas fabric, but it's a nice, thick, nice weight cotton. I'm going to say like a light cotton, but it's a little kind of stiff, but it's a good fabric for this project. Now, a lot of times, you know, depending on what you're making, you know, you're told to, you know, wash your fabrics first, dry them, and then you won't have any shrinkage. And especially when you're making garments. So, but with this, I'm not going to wash it, okay? And I'm going to take it to the ironing board though, and I'm going to iron it out really good so that I can lay my pattern down on it, okay? So I'll see you back here, all right? Make sure you iron your fabric. I think that's important to get the wrinkles and stuff out. And even if your pattern is wrinkled, you can also drop an iron on that pattern, okay? All right. I'll see you back here. Okay, so I decided to change my fabric. I'm going to use this now. This one is a lot thinner, a little thinner than the last fabric that I had. But the first thing we're going to do with the fabric is set it up for cutting. So, I don't know about you, but what I'm going to do here is I'm going to open up my fabric, okay? And I'm going to fold it up going this way, okay? This right here actually helps to save fabric. And let me see if I can. It's so long. It's a really long piece of fabric. So I'm going to fold it up like this. And I'm going to lay my pattern piece. Now, when you have stuff like this, how you see the pattern in it, I line it up so I can do. And it's not really going to matter on this project actually, because we're going to be hiding some of the fabric anyway with the fringe. So I would take my pattern piece, because you're going to need two front and back of your bag. Okay. So fold it out. Okay. And then you're going to start to lay your pattern out. I can still bring this down some. I don't have to have that much fabric, because I'm going to cut this part anyway. So you're going to cut a front and a back piece of your bag. Now you can do this a couple of different ways when you lay your pattern down. You can pin your pattern. Here, let me pull this over. You can pin your pattern. What I'm going to do too is I'm going to go straight across this piece, because actually I can add some more pieces on here. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to place the pocket on the fold. Okay, and we'll come back to the handle, and we're going to place this here. Now you need two of these as well. So now, so one or two things you can do here. Here, I'm going to pull this over, pull this over. Now you need the pocket on the fold. We'll come back to the strap. So just one or two things you could do here, okay? One of the things you could do, I use this adhesive spray, which I spray the back of the pattern with and lay it on the fabric, and it doesn't move. You can use weights, or you can also use pins, okay? So I usually use this, and then people use glue sticks, whatever you have, you can use. So I'm going to go ahead and, for this video, I'm going to just go ahead and pin, okay? Let me go ahead. I'm trying to keep it on the mat. I should have used my larger mat. Sometimes you just say, let's get it done. Okay, so go ahead and pin your pattern down, or however you're going to put it down. Okay. So I'm actually making this video so that if you have never sewn before and you want to make bags and you got patterns from me and you're using my pattern, I like to show you how to use my pattern. So now this isn't necessarily how you would make a garment, okay, because it depends on the garment that you're making and how your fabric needs to be on folded. It would totally sometimes be different. It depends on what you're making. Me, I'm just that creative person, and whatever I feel the need to do and how I feel like doing it, that's kind of what I do. I don't know, just that's like creativity, you know. Everybody has it in them. Everybody has creativity in them. And you just, you know, just go for it. Do you, as they say, do you, okay? And that's what I do. I do me, so that, you know, it's only one of you and one of me. So, hey, do you. Do what you do. Do what you do best. I usually don't use these little small pans, but I have like so many of them. I mean, when I say so many, I have like, woo, a lot of them. lot of them. So, like I said, I just wanted to kind of take you step by step. I know if you already know how to pin a pattern down, you can. Go ahead and do it. Then go to the next video, because I've put them in stages for training. I'm creating these as training videos, so teaching videos, because you know people want to learn how to sew. So yeah, so that's what I'm doing. Okay, so I don't have my famous fabric scissors, so I'm going to just use these. And what I'm going to do right now is, you know, my large handle scissors, I'm just going to cut this all the way across for right now. Alright, hope I'm still in frame. So I'm just only going to cut that so I can work with these. So now what we're going to do, you're going to go ahead and you're going to cut this out. You're going to cut these out, okay? And now let me show you how to place your fringe down on your handle. So the next thing we're going to do, let me bring this fabric back, because right now what we're going to do is just get our fabric together, okay? So I want to work with fringe, the fringe. And with this kind of fabric, you have to really look to see which way. Oh, uh-oh. I'm still in frame. I hope they're hitting the camera. So now we're getting ready to actually, I'm going to have you like, now each fringe you need two, because you need one for the front and one for the back of the bag. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to lay your fringe out. So let's start with one side of this fabric. Okay, so I folded it up. See how I folded it up? Just like I did the handbag. Now remember, I told you your fringes are numbered 1 through 8. So we're going to lay them down. Because you need two. So that's why I say place these on the fold. Okay? And I'm going to place them as close as I can. Now with this, actually, if you want, I think that you, let's try this. You know what, I never really used a glue stick, but people use glue sticks all the time, but I think they actually use their iron too. So let's see, let me see how this works, because I don't know, I've never really used the glue stick. Let's see, because what I wanted to do when I put it down, I actually wanted to stay on here. Let's see. I think you have to, I don't know. I look like it's going to stay on it. I think they iron it down though. You know, I don't really use, I think they iron it down. So if you're going to use a glue stick, place it on there, have your iron. Don't iron on your mat though. Because, let me tell you, I did. I ironed on my mat and it started to crinkle. And I'm like, oh no. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use my spray. Hold on. Let me show you. But first I'm going to, oh yeah, it looked like it was sticking. But I'm going to do mine different. Okay. So I have a sheet of paper here. Alright. And so nothing to get messed up. You can use newspaper, whatever you have. So I'm going to lay my fringe down on this paper. And you're supposed to actually do this in an area that is ventilated. Use as manufactured. So I'm just going to lay them down. And I'm basically laying them in order. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And like I said, they have numbers on them. That's 8 and this is 7. So what I'm going to do is spray them. Because what I want to do, this is a fringe guide. Now, once you learn how to create the fringe, let me tell you something. This is just a guide that I created to get you started. And once you actually, move this out the way. Once you actually learn how to create your fringe, let me move this. So once you learn, these guides were only created to now let me fold this up a little more. These guides were only created to help you learn how to cut fringe. You know, after you learn, you're not going to even really need the guide anymore, okay? So like I said, I created them only to help you learn how to cut. So this is fringe number 1. So I'm going to stick it down here like, I hope I'm in frame. I'm going to stick it down here like this. See how it sticks to the paper? Okay. This is 2. I'll stick it up kind of close so I could just cut through there. And remember, I folded it, not all the way up, but just a little ways up. This is fringe number 3. And this is going to help you when you place it on the bag. It's cool. You know, it's just going to help you cut them. And I'm going to show you what you're going to do. Hold on. Trust me, I got something going on here. Okay. Whatever it is. This is number 4. Okay. Number 5. And see, I like this spray adhesive, and you can get it at any fabric store. I'm gonna put this up here. This is number 6. Thought I ironed all my fabric. Oops. This is 6. I'm gonna just put it right there. This is 7. And I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna show you why I did the guide. And this is 8. And again, I like this spray. You know, I think it's a really good spray. Okay. All right. So the next thing we're going to do, let's cut across there because I want to hold this down. Go ahead and cut that. And I want to show you something else that I'm going to do with this, because of the fact that I want both pieces of fabric to stay, okay? Let me show you what I'm going to do next. And of course, we haven't done the handle yet. We will. So once I've done this, and because it's a second piece, it's going to be, you're going to have 2 fringe for each bag, okay? Take your pins, because we have another piece of fabric on there, okay? Take your pin and just pin right in here. And I say that because you want to hold that other piece of fabric down, but I don't want it to interfere with the cutting of the fringe when we cut, okay? Because this is where your placement lines are, okay? So do that, because each fringe is its own fringe. If you want to, you can stick a pin between the cut line. Those are cut lines, okay? And I'm going to show you. You probably already know what we're going to do. But like I said, this is just a guide, a fringe guide, to help you get familiar with setting the bag up for fringe. And you can actually take this method, and you don't have to, like I said, this is only for practice, for you to start out if you've never created it before. But some people have created fringe, so, you know, I just want you to, it's not that hard, but if you've never sewn, or, you know, if you've never done it before, it can be a little intimidating. But if you have somebody to walk you through it, then you'll see that, you know, it's pretty cool. So I'm going to just go ahead and pin this because I am really talking. You know, I can talk. Got a little bit of that glue on my hands. But yeah, and like I said, this is only to get you familiar. Once you get to cutting these fringe, it don't really matter what size you cut them. It's totally up to you. You can trim them, you can make them longer, whatever you want to do. You know, so don't get stuck in the fact that, oh, it has to be this way. This is not something, this is fun. Oh, that's a sewing needle. This is fun. This is supposed to be fun, okay? I don't want to take the fun out of sewing, okay? I don't want to take the fun out of creativity, because once it becomes a job, then it's no longer fun, right? And that's with anything. So just finish pinning everything. And by this time, you could go ahead and, well, you know what? I'm going to show you how to do it. I was going to say, you could go ahead and put your pocket. Most people, a lot of people who get my patterns already sew. So, you know, but again, this is to help those who don't sew, okay? And if you don't sew, then, hey, you know, it's okay. I'll show you how to get this done. Because people have been asking me about these classes, so this is part of what I'm doing new in 2018 to help others. I have some custom fabrics coming out, and actually they really are custom, like you know, they're like really custom designs I'm doing. And I'm really excited about that because, you know, sometimes people are like, where you get that fabric? And I like creating, so, you know, I'm going to try to do it so that it'll be as reasonable as possible. Probably do it for like certain projects and just whatever. We'll see. Okay, I know sometimes my voice go low. That's because I'm thinking and working at the same time, okay? So, and again, so that's how this is how it'll be, okay? So, I'm just going to go ahead so I won't have have that many pieces here, and I'm just going to cut up the side, okay? I'm just doing that just to put them together. Yeah. And I'm going to show you how to cut those out. So the next thing we're going to do, we have our, did I put the pocket on already? Okay, now, what have I done? What have I done? Okay, yeah, so we only had a strap. Okay. Now at this point, you're going to take your strap and you're going to place your strap on the fold of the fabric, and you're going to cut two. So you're going to place it on the fold of the fabric, cut one, move it over, place it on the fold, and cut two. Let me show you. Just in case. Let me see. Okay, so when I say you place it on the fold, now remember, I'm not talking to those that already know how to sew. I'm talking to people who are new to sewing, okay? So now you don't have to use this same fabric for your handle unless you want to. You can actually use a different fabric for your handle. And you have to remember, fabric like this, you have to be careful to really know which side is the wrong and which side is the right, because it all look the same. But this actually is the right size together. So what we're going to do, oh Lord, I done pulled my whole mat out of focus. Okay. So what we're going to do here is cut out two straps. So I folded the fabric up. See? Folded it up. I didn't use, so we still have a lot of fabric left. So I'm going to put it on the fold here. And because this is directional, I'm going to go ahead and put it here on the fold. Pin. And I could actually double it around, but I'm not using my rotary cutter. I'm just using scissors. As a matter of fact, I don't know. My other scissors, I don't know where they're at. So anyway, so you just cut it out. Okay. I'm gonna just cut across here like that, okay? And you just cut it out. Some people use paper weights. You know what? I never really got into paper weights. So then, let me see, because I want to see what I'm doing. Alright, so I'm going to take this off. And you're going to cut 2. So this is 1. So let's cut another one. Come on. My fabric is just moving because it's so large. I'm going to cut this off so it won't move while I'm showing you what to do. And again, like I said, you don't have to actually use the same fabric for the handle if you don't want to. Okay, you can always use something totally different. Alright, so here's one handle. Let's go ahead and cut off another handle. So since I kind of had that, I'm gonna cut it right here. I want this. So because I'm using this directional fabric, I'm using the pieces that I want to use. Yeah. Now, if this was a plain solid fabric, okay, you could just went ahead and did your thing. Okay. And I'm just, like I said, I'm showing people who have never sewn. You can always skip this part of the video, which that's why I'm so glad I'm doing it this way, because I'm putting it in sections, okay? Okay. Alright, so this is our second handle. And again, it's placed on the fold of the fabric. And you don't cut the fold when it's placed on the fold. Okay, so here we go. Sticking to the stuff that I had on my hand. Okay, so here we have 2 handles. 1, 2. Alright. Okay, so let's go to the next part of cutting out the rest of the pieces of the pattern. Follow the directions, cut it out. And then you just cut the rest of, take your time, don't do it like I'm doing. Take your time and cut it out. This part is the longest part of the video. That's why it's a training video. Like I said, you can actually cut this part of the video. You don't have to watch this part of the video. And definitely probably don't cut the fabric. Yeah, just pick stuff up and just cut it. Don't learn bad habits from me. Any of that. So I'm really happy about these new patterns that we have out. And even though I placed this pattern on the fold, it's not a pattern that's going to be on the fold. Okay, so you're going to cut the fold part of the pattern off. Again, if you're already familiar with cutting out patterns, you can skip this part. You don't have to watch me cut out a whole pattern. Okay, so we cut this piece out. So let's go ahead and cut the rest of it out. But my main thing, now don't forget, the pocket is on the fall of the fabric, okay? So just go ahead and cut around the rest of pieces of these pieces of fabric, and then I'll meet you back here. Now, this is the one that I really want to talk about. I want to talk about this, okay? I want you to go ahead and cut these out. I might have to stand up to cut. So, remember, you have two pieces. You have one for the front of the bag and one for the back of the bag. And I want to show you something. Now, in my other video that I did, this is on the fall, remember, so we're just going to cut that off. This is the first fringe. So in my other video that I did with the fringe bag, basically, you can, if you want to use it, you can use that to see how to put the bag together. But I would rather you use this video for this particular pattern, because this is a new video for this pattern, because these pieces did not come with the digital pattern for the fringe bag, okay? They basically, everybody was cutting fringe by hand. And the reason, like I said, that I created this particular pattern is because with these fringe guides is to help people who have never sewn and might feel uncomfortable, okay, at first. Or somebody who never made a fringe bag. Me, I just cut the fabric, throw it out there, and do my thing. So now, like I said, these are odd numbered, okay? Let's start with fringe number 1. Because when we do the fringe number 1, you're going to do the fringe number 2, okay? Okay, so these are not my regular scissors, so y'all know I'm having a fit, right? Because these are not my regular scissors. Oh! Okay, so once you cut out all of the fringe, okay, what you're going to do, so here I want you to take your pins out. So just take your pins out, and we're going to go to the next step, which is setting up the fringe. Okay, so now that we have both pieces of our pattern, this is what I want you to do. Our front and back of our bag. I'm going to move this one to the side. I'm going to take the first one. I'm going to lay my pattern piece down. And what I did here, I folded it. I took it and I folded it in half, okay? Because what you want to do now is I want you to make the guidelines. Now, this is the only thing that's different from the bag, the fabric bag that I have, the digital download bag. So what you're going to do, you're going to take your ruler, your measuring tape, you're going to line it where the fringe is. And you're going to draw a line. I hope you can see. You probably can't because it's kind of light. But what you're going to do, you're going to continue on up in each one. Because what this is going to do is help you to place your fringe on your bag. Now, trust me, you can actually, and you're going to do this to both front and back of bag. Okay? And you're going to just continue to do it all the way up on both front and back. You probably make sure you can see. This is like, I can't even see this. I hope you could. You probably can't see it either. I can see it on here, but you probably can't see it. I'm trying to mark it a little, but you're gonna do this to both front and back of bag. And this right here, when you're new to it, it just kind of help you to guide. And I actually put a little more lines on this one. It just helps you to lay your fringe out, okay? And remember, you can always add more fringe. You can add whatever you want, fabric. You can add yarn. You can add a lot of stuff to your bag, okay? So you see that? So I have these lines here. You're going to do that to both the front and the back of the bag. So the next thing you're going to do, this is fringe 1. So what you want to do is you want to lay, once you mark both pieces, you want to lay your bags down. You want to lay both pieces down like this, okay? Okay, so this is fringe number 1, and this is the reason why I actually made these. I wish I knew where my other scissors were. Oh my goodness. So what you're going to do, you see where the lines are? Just cut. Cut all the way up to that first line, okay? And stop. And that's what you're going to do. And you're just going to do that for all of them. So, I guess we could have did that before we put the bag down. And it doesn't matter if you're not on the line or not. Don't worry about it. But just cut. This is just helping you to learn how to cut fringe, okay? That's it. And that's the only reason why I actually created this little guide. Just to help. No. Okay. And you can make these smaller, you can make them larger, you can make fringe whatever size you want. And it's another step to this bag. Okay, I didn't want to sit here and cut all day and have you watch me cut fringe, which you could follow that direction. Okay, let me stand up because and then I'm holding the fringe in my hand right here. And these are paper, scissors, fabric, and papers. I usually try not to mix the two. So again, this just gives you an idea of fringe and how to cut, okay? So now you have both pieces, and like I said, they both will be marked, right? So now what you're going to do, unpin your fringe. And this is like on the my first fringe bag, I showed you how to turn the fringe over, sew it. That's not what we're going to do here. What we're going to do here, we take our fringe and we lay it down on the first line, because this is fringe 1, okay? This is our first line. So when you do that, you're going to pin, because you're going to literally take this to the sewing machine, and I should have my sewing machine, right? And you're going to stitch it on. Just like this, you just go stitch like that. We're not folding anything over. We're not doing anything. Okay? So this is what you're going to do. Matter of fact, I have my sewing machine. I'm going to show you. And you're going to, we're not turning anything over, up, nothing. You're going to stitch 1/4 inch straight across. You're going to repeat the same process to this side of the bag as well. Hopefully I got that all the same size, because I didn't actually mark it. But let me go ahead and mark it. Then that way yeah, might as well show you the right way, right? I didn't create this for nothing.
What? I'm sick and tired of people always trying to tell somebody how they need to be doing and they ain't doing it. They say, what? Ain't you supposed to lead by example? What? So look at you sideways.
And it really will help you, you know. And then after you learn how to do this, you just place your fringe. You'll learn how to just place fringe, just to place it, okay? You will. You'll just learn how to place it on your bag. And these are only 2 things that I did different with the fringe bag. So when you, I'm really thinking about a sewing course to take patterns that we've already done, to add things to it, to create a lot simpler method. I always come up with some kind of method for you to make sewing fun and easy. Okay? And this just help you, like I said, to put it on. Once you start doing it, you'll just eyeball it, and you'll put your fringe on your bag however you want it, wherever you want to place it, and so forth. Okay? So now we're going to take this second piece and we're going to line it up, pin this down. You can always do the middle thing too. You know how I always fold it to find the middle. You can do that as well. I think that's the middle, yeah. And then you can just take your fringe, fold it in half. Come on. Find the middle. Well, I don't think the middle worked for me this time, but anyway, just make sure you have enough, because you're going to still have a 1/4 of an inch or a 1/2 inch seam allowance, whatever you want to do. Okay, I'm not trying to stay on this too long. I'm just trying to show you a better way to do your fringe. Okay. Now, at this point, if you wanted to use a stabilizer on the back of this piece, you could. You could go ahead and do that, or you could, hey, okay, if you want to, because this is kind of thin material. So what you will do is continue to place the fringe pieces on the bag, okay? Okay, so now that we have pinned our fringe on, we used the first one. So this was our first fringe. This was our first fringe, okay? So now that we pin the first fringe on, we take it to the sewing machine and we stitch across. And that's what I did here. And I used my widest stitch and I stitched across the top, about a 1/4 of an inch, not that, you know, get as close to the top as you can, but still leave a little room, all right? We're not turning fringe, we're not doing anything. Now, let me say this too. Some people I know do not have a sewing machine. You can do the same thing here by threading, doing a needle and thread, threading it and just stitching. And I just wanted to throw that in there for people who may not have a sewing machine. So you thread your needle, you knot it at the end, you take it from the back, and here, let me see, because I don't think I knotted it. Just do a little knot. However you tie a knot, you can tie it however you want to, if I can get mine done. Okay, and then you just take it from the back and you'll take each fringe and you just stitch it on. And I just do a stitch like this. I just wanted to show you that, just in case. Here, let me stand up. Just in case you don't have a sewing machine, okay? So you take it and you just back and forth. And you repeat that step all the way across. And you would do it for all your fringe, okay? With a needle and thread. All right, but for the sake of this video, I'm going to stitch. So everything that you do to the front of the bag, you do the same thing to the back main piece, okay? So let's go ahead, since we've already put our first fringe on, let's go to fringe number 2. Now, like I said, they're all numbered. So this is fringe number 2. So you take your pins out. We've cut everything. And you know what? Don't worry about, like I said, staying on the lines, following the dotted lines, because a lot of them I went past the dotted line. It's okay. This is only a guide to help you to just get familiar with fringe and get comfortable with it. So we're going to put our second fringe on. And whatever we do to the front of the bag, we do to the back of the bag. Now, remember, this is always going to be the right side of the fabric facing up, because this is the front of your bag. The fringe is going to be on the right side of the fabric. If you have a print like this, you need to know which side is right and which side is wrong. So we're going to go with our second line. We have a second line there. And we're going to place it on our second line, because remember, we drew our lines. So we're going to place it there. And we're going to pin, okay? So let me turn this around because I need to see where my line is. Okay, right there and right there. And you can eyeball You know, you can eyeball it. Like I said, even with placement, I just made the placement just to make you, you know, comfortable and get used to putting your fringe on, but make sure that it extends from one side to the other. Matter of fact, and just make sure it looks right to you, okay? Just eyeball it. This is your creativity, okay? So you don't even have to use the lines that I placed on there, okay? You can actually, you know, hey, do your own thing. You want the fringe to go up some, let it go up. You have room here to place, you could throw some yarns or any type of different textiles in this project, okay? Just do you. Be you. Like I said, this is a project for fun. I don't want sewing to be complicated. And so now that I've had the second, let me move this out the way. We have pinned the second fringe on, so we're going to take it and we're going to stitch across there, okay? I'm going to show you real quick. And like I said, whatever we do to the front of the bag, we do to the back of the bag. So I just put it on my sewing machine here. And like I said, it's about 1/4 inch. I think I need thread though, right? I set my sewing machine up without thread. Okay. Sure, Angela, just show them how to do this. Okay. You can stitch without thread. You actually could if you use fabric, because you can use glue to put this on or anything. You can use fabric glue, but I am sewing, so let me put my thread together. Give me 1 second. Sorry about that, y'all. Okay, I'm back. Let me thread my machine really quick. Can you believe I was getting ready to stitch without thread? That would have been interesting, wouldn't it? Okay. Alright, so now take your fringe, and like I said, I put my stitch line on about 4.5, whatever. So we're going to take it and we're going to just stitch a straight line. So I want to make sure this is straight here. And that's what those guidelines are, to help you actually pin this down. And like I said, once you get used to it, listen, it's going to be okay. About 1/4 inch or closer, as long as you have enough room on the outside. I'm trying to fix this chair. As long as you have so you know, you want to have something sticking out. You just grab it. You don't want to just have it just, you know. So now we're going to stitch. I always back stitch, and that's to lock it in. And then you just I don't sew over my pins. And at the end, I back stitch in. Okay, that's to lock it in. Now, also, let me tell you this: you could use a thread that actually match your fabric. It's totally up to you. This is a creative bag, and again, whatever you do to the front piece, you do to the back. So what we'll do is continue on with adding our fringe. Our next fringe is number 3. I'll do one more for you, then I'll let you finish it, okay? So we're going to unpin our fringe. Like I said, you know, now some people already know how to do this, so you could just move on to the next part of the video to put the bag together. But I just wanted to share this with people who, you know, who just want to learn how to sew, okay? So here you go. So what you can do too, since you're new at this, if you're new at this, and it's okay if you have more fringe on one, it's okay, because we're going to stitch the bag up the side, so it's okay. And again, you can eyeball it. If you want to change your placement, you can. Okay? This is not something that I'm making hard for you. I want it as easy as possible. I want you to enjoy sewing and want to make some more. I know a lot of people say, I want to use, they want me to teach on, teach with patterns. So I'm like, hey, no better way to learn for the pattern maker, right? So, okay, so you do the same thing, depending on the line. And you notice we start at the bottom and we move up. Each fringe is on top, okay, as we move up. So we're going to go ahead and stitch that. And once we do that, this is what we're going to do. I'm going to let you finish. And start out with back stitch. I did a lot of back stitching there, didn't I? Okay. I told you. I just do what I do. Okay. That's stitching. Now we're doing a stitch in a straight line. That's it, a straight line. Straight stitch. When we get to the end, back stitch. Okay? And that's what we have so far. So what I'm going to do is let you go ahead and finish this, and I'll get back to you so we can go with the placement of the band. All right? I'll see you back here. Okay, now that we have sewn all of our fringe on, let me show you this last fringe. Okay, so the fringe here at the top, what I want you to do is make sure that you line it up right at that line, either on the line or below the line, okay? Just make sure that you line it up and pin. Okay, so it could be, this is the last fringe, okay, that go on the top, okay? I'm going to show you why. All right, so let's go ahead and stitch that one on. Now, at this point, I turned my my fabric around. I'm no longer working from this end, so I turned it around. I'm working from the top now. So I just I line up the end of the fringe at the side of the foot, okay? And I brought my needle over. So you have a device on your that will move your needle. See, I hope you can see that. I just move my needle, okay? Still, and I'm still doing a 4-inch length stitch. So when I get ready to sew, I always go forward, back stitch, and I keep going. And I do not sew over my pins. Okay? I don't sew your pins. Okay, so here, so now we have that last one sewn on. So now what I'm going to do, turn it over. So you see a few of them sticking out. Just go ahead and trim that off. Not cutting your fabric, because you're going to, remember, you're going to, yeah, you could trim it off, which is fine. It's not going to do anything, because we're going to actually, here, just cut a few of them. Okay, you don't have to cut them all, because we're going to have a 1/2 inch seam allowance. But if that bothers you a little bit, you can go ahead and cut it, as long as you don't cut the bag. Okay, just cut a few off, because they're sticking out pretty far. Let's see. I found my big scissors. Oh, yes. You see, I found my scissors. Yes, not that they were lost. I just placed them somewhere. I don't know. So just go ahead and trim at the bag. Okay, just like this. Okay. It's fine. It's not going to do anything. And even if it look a little whatever, it's okay. Okay, let's trim a little bit more of this off. I'm just trimming it right up into the bag. Alright, see? It's not going to hurt anything. Alright, so our next step, and plus it gives it a little character. Hey, I'm fine with it. If you fine with it, or you could turn it around in the front, because this is all going to be stitched. Okay, so let me show you. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is that you're going to take your the top band. Remember the top band? Okay, now at this point you can actually do a solid material if you like here, but for the sake of this video I'm just going to use the fabric that I have. I did have let's see, this is that duck cloth that I told you about, which is a really nice heavy canvas, and I use this a lot for the inside of my linings a lot of times in my bags. And you can even use a solid, it comes in all colors, orange, yellow, green, and if you wanted to, you could actually use this at the top of the bag, okay, and stitch across for a solid color. But you could use any of these colors. They have green. I thought I could find it, but I couldn't. You could use anything you want, and you could create the handles that way. But for the sake of this video, I'm using the same fabric, but I'm letting you know that the band could actually be a solid fabric, and the handles could actually match the band. Okay, so you could have cut the handles and the band out in a totally different different fabric. Okay, so once you take your band piece, okay, and you fold it in half. Now I suggest you take this to your ironing board and press down. All right, okay. So you take the raw edges, the open raw edges, see, and you place those at the top of the bag like this. Now see, let me show you. See how that is? This is the top of the, and these are the raw edges. You place it just like that. Okay, so we're going to pin, and I want you to place, I want you to take this, because all of this has to be done before you actually put your handles on, okay? So in the next video, after I show you this, I'm using another video, which is the video that I use to create the Hello Kitty fringe bag, the kitty fringe bag, kitty fringe bag. I'm going to use that video to show you how to put the bag together, how to put your handles on, and how to put the lining together, and just basically how to put the rest of the bag together, okay? So you can use that video from this point on, all right, after we stitch here. So now we're going to take this, like I said, raw edges at the top, and we're going to stitch, okay? Put it on the longest stitch that you have on your sewing machine. And I always, let's see, I want to move it over some. I always still back stitch at the beginning and the end. Okay, so I'll take this all the way. And see, at the end of this fabric here, my foot, how it's lined up on this side, that's what I'm doing. And I'm following that across. Trying to stay as straight as possible. Okay. Okay, so now you have the bag. So you repeat this step to the second side of your bag, and now from here, the next step is your handles, okay? And well, let me show you how to fold your handles before we get into placing your handles, because the video will actually show you how to place the handles. Okay, so you take your handle, here we go, sewing machine out the way. So you're going to take the handle Yeah, you're going to, I would use my sewing machine. My ironing board and my iron to press this down. Okay. Press it in half, and then you turn it over. Bring it to the middle. Bring it to the middle, and then fold it again. You can use this. You could actually, and then you could actually not even just use this. You could actually purchase handles at the fabric stores. They have handles you could actually purchase, or different kind of fabric that you use for handles. And then you take this and you stitch down here, and you stitch down there. And also you can use any kind of like cording to put in there if you want the round handle. I thought I had some available here, but you can use cording or anything so to do your handles. So once you've completed your handles, my next video is going to show you how to place your handles on your bag. Now remember, I'm using 2 videos. The Hello Kitty video Fringe bag is basically set up for the digital download pattern, and this particular bag is set up for the paper pattern that you receive. Okay, so alright, so let's get into the next lesson. Thank you. Then the next thing I did, I cut a pocket, and the pocket measures 9.5 by 12. And later on in the video, you'll see we're going to fold it in half. We're going to stitch it and then add it to the back of the one of the pieces of the lining. But you can create as many pockets as you like. It's totally up to you. So now we're going to take the pocket and we're going to fold it in half, as shown here. And you're going to take it to your sewing machine and you're going to stitch around the pocket on both sides, leaving an opening to turn it inside out. Okay. So now we're getting ready to just trim off any extra fabric. Make sure you do not cut your stitch line. Just, you know, as shown here. This is an awesome bag, and I think that you're going to really love it. Again, I do have the pattern in my Etsy store, and I will leave a link in the description box below, but I am giving you measurements, and like I said, my pattern is actually on a slant for my main bag and my inside lining, but you can create it at 18 by 11 inches, however you want. Alright, so now we're going to turn it inside out and make sure that you push out all of the corners in the pocket. Take it over to your ironing board and you're going to press, leaving the bottom open, but you're going to actually turn that under so it would match as shown here. And you're going to go take it to your ironing board and press, and then we're going to put it on one piece of our lining. Now, again, you can create as many pockets as you want. It's totally up to you. It's your bag and you are the designer. So now we're going to take the pocket and we're going to place it on the bag. And so what I do here, you know how I always, and we're going to place the open end at the bottom. Now, I always fold my bags in half. So you fold your pocket and your lining in half so that you can actually place the pocket in the middle, as shown here. And from the top, I come down about 2.5 inches from the top to give my pocket some space. So once you actually you put the pocket on, we're going to take it to our sewing machine, pin your pocket on. You know, I believe in pinning and pressing. And again, the open part of the pocket will be at the bottom, not the top, because we don't stitch the top part. And so you're going to pin this on, and then you're going to take it to your sewing machine and you're going to sew down both sides and at the bottom. And what I did with this pocket, I ended up actually sewing in the middle of the pocket as well, because I wanted to create 2 individual pockets, and you'll see shortly. So right now I'm just pinning, you know, pin and press. That's me, because it makes it look very professional. And again, you can find the pattern in my Etsy store if you like, or you can create the bag by the measurements that I've given you during this video. Alright, so now we're going to take it to our sewing machine and we're going to stitch all the way around. And again, like I said, I actually stitched the middle, down the middle of the pocket, because I wanted to create, as you see here, I wanted to create 2 individual pockets as shown here. Okay, so at this point you would either have your fringe, already on here. You know, if you were going to fringe this bag out on both sides, you would have your fringe before you placed your handles on. Okay, so as you notice, see, I lined it up 1, 2, 3, 4, and I bring my handle over, and the part that I actually put on the line is where I stitched it at on that side. And then I'm going to repeat that process to the other side. I'm going to come in 4 inches. Again, you can use your ruler, and I'm going to show you how to do that in a second. And you come in measuring 4 over, and you place your handle at that line as shown here. Like I said, this is a great bag. You can make a few of them. I actually created a binder for her too that actually matched the bag. I wanted to save some fabric, and like I said, she loved Hello Kitty. So now you're getting ready to pin this. It's for my niece. So you just pin the handles down, and what you're going to do is take these, both of them, to your sewing machine, and you're going to stitch as close to the edge as you can. It's just a stay stitch to help you when you start putting the bag together. And you're going to take both the front and the back, and you're going to just stitch across, okay, for both front and back of your bag. And again, it's a stay stitch just to help you when you start to put the bag together. See how close I got it to the edge? Want just to make sure it's just a stay stitch, okay? Alright, as shown here. So now we're getting ready to put the bag together. You want to tuck in all of your fringe. If you have fringe on both sides of your bag, you want to just make sure the handles is tucked in and all of the fringe is tucked inside of your bag. Because after we do that, and you want to line it up at the top of the bag, make sure the top of the bag is lined up. See, I cut that pocket and I brought it down and I used that pattern, so that's why you see that extra fabric, but you're going to see where I cut that off. And now what we're going to do is we're going to pin each side of the bag, including the bottom of the bag. But you want to just tuck everything in to make sure that you do not stitch your any of your fringe, and you make sure that your handles are down in there. And now I'm going to show you what I did. I cut the bottom off, but I turned it over and I followed what I had. So you're going to actually now stitch on both sides of the bag and at the bottom. Okay, we're not touching those corners yet. We're going to do that next after we stitch both sides and the bottom of the bag together. Okay, make sure everything is tucked in neat if you have fringe on both sides. Okay, now see how we did that? Now we've sewn it and our bottom is open, and now we're getting ready to line up our bottom of our bag with seam to seam, and we're going to make the box of the bag. See how we did that? And we're going to stitch across. You line seam up to seam side to seam bottom. Line those up and then you stitch. Now we're going to prepare the lining piece. You're going to do it the same way, but you're going to leave an opening at the bottom of your bag. You're going to stitch both sides. You're going to stitch in and leave an opening for turning, okay? But we're not going to turn it, but we're going to leave an opening, all right? So now that we've stitched that, now we're going to take our bag, our main bag, we're putting right sides together as shown. If you have one pocket on there, you put the pocket towards the back of the bag. If you have two pockets, because you can put as many pockets on in your lining as you like. You can customize those pockets how you want. So now what you're going to do, you're going to stuff the bag in to the lining on the outside, right sides together. Push the handles in. Make sure the handles is in front of the bag, inside the lining, but in front, as shown here. See that? Okay, and you're going to line up side seams. Push everything in, because we're going to top stitch around that, okay? So you're going to line up your side seams. And I did about 1/4 of an inch with everything that I did on this bag. I did 1/4 of an inch. So you're going to line up side seams as shown here. Make sure everything is pushed down, okay? Pin all the way around the bag. And what we're going to do here is once you pin all the way around the bag, we're going to stitch 1/4 of an inch all the way around the bag. So make sure everything is pushed down and neat inside of the bag as shown here. Okay, and remember, side seams, line those up first and then pin your bag all the way around so we can stitch the top of the bag all the way around. Okay, as shown here. Make sure everything is tucked in. Those handles are right like they're supposed to be. Make sure everything is nice and neat. Again, I do have my pattern on Etsy. If you like the pattern, you can download it. We're actually having a sale today. Every Thursday when I do a DIY Thursday, if I create something and I create a pattern, I usually put it on half price. I half price the sale for the DIY. Alright, so just pin all the way around. As artists, we have to do something sometimes, so, you know, to keep our business going. Alright, so now we're going to stitch all the way around the top of the bag, like I said, 1/4 of an inch. Now that we've stitched all the way around, 1/4 of an inch, now we're going to, but you're going to box off these corners just like you did the bag, lining up the bottom seam and the side seam. And you're going to pin it, and you're going to stitch across about 1/4 of an inch. And then after you do that, you're going to turn your bag inside out. So let's go ahead and pin. You're going to do both sides of that bag, of the lining. You're going to box it off, lining up seam to seam just like we did the main part of the bag. You're going to pin, take it to your sewing machine and stitch across. And then after we do that, we're going to come back and we're going to turn it inside out. So now that we've done that, we're turning it inside out. Now, once we turn it inside out, see? Turn it inside out, and now you're going to close up your lining once you turn the bag inside out. Okay? See how we've stitched everything here? Okay? Everything is stitched. Now we're going to turn our bag inside out. Pull the bag through the lining. And once you get it out through the lining, take your time. You don't want to, you know, tear your bag. And make sure when you stitch that lining and leave that opening that you, you know, I back stitch too, so, on it. But you're going to close it up. But once you turn the bag out, inside out, as shown here, it's kind of thick, so, but it's okay. Take your time. Nobody's rushing in now. Just push everything out. And now you put your lining inside the bag, but you're going to tuck it in and you're going to stitch across. So what I did here, I'm a little bit out of front. Here we go. We're going to line it up, pin it, and we're going to stitch it across. And once we stitch it across, we're going to push it inside of our bag. Yeah, I'm just trying to get all strings off of there. But yeah, pin it, stitch across. You're going to tuck it in. You'll see, it'll give you a little tuck to tuck it in. Take it to your sewing machine, stitch across to close it up. And then you're going to, once we do that, we're going to push it inside of our bag Now we're done. We push it inside of our bag, and we're going to top stitch all the way around our bag now, making sure everything is right. So what you're going to do is push the lining inside your bag, and on the outside at the top there are seams, and you're going to top stitch. I did like a double top stitch, but you stitch close and then you can stitch a second stitch up under there. That's what I did, but it's totally up to you. But you know, I take it over to my ironing board too and I press, but we're going to top stitch, and I make sure that the it's lined up and everything is neat in the inside, and that's what I took it over to my ironing board and pressed, and then I top stitched all the way around the bag. Okay, it's a really great bag. Again, I'm going to leave a link below in the description box to the Etsy shop where you can go and get the pattern. And hey, happy crafting, and I'll see you next time. www.angiebstyle.com is my website. And if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Thank you.